This has me, as well as many other Cavs fans, fired up as an NBA All-Star turned podcaster decided to go on his show and call out Evan Mobley. Had some not very nice things to say about the future of Evan Mobley and the Cavaliers, and that's what we're here to talk about. What did this player and podcaster have to say about the Cavaliers starting power forward and Defensive Player of the Year winner Evan Mobley? Matt Blangy here at Cavs Digest. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this Sunday evening. I hope everyone's going to have a good week, and I hope everyone had a good weekend. Before we break down what this podcaster had to say about Evan Mobley, go ahead and subscribe to this channel because you can get fun videos like this, as well as rumors, reports, mock trades, injuries, post-games, pre-game thoughts, everything like that. There's so much here on the Cavs YouTube page called Cavs Digest, so go ahead and subscribe. Now let's talk about what was said about our glorious king, Evan Mobley. Of course, not our glorious king, but that podcaster was Jeff Teague, who, if you remember Jeff Teague, we just actually talked about Al Horford, who was one of Jeff Teague's all-star teammates, but Jeff Teague was an all-star point guard that played for the Atlanta Hawks back in 2014-2015 when the Atlanta Hawks actually got the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They were dominating the whole league, but they got swept by the glorious king, LeBron James, in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then the Cleveland Cavaliers then lost with Kyrie and Kevin Love being hurt against the Warriors. But anyways, that is who Jeff Teague, just to give you guys a little bit of background. He now does a lot of podcasting stuff. He actually said some really smart things, but he also has blasphemous takes, and that's just how the sports media industry works. So, what did Jeff Teague have to say about Evan Mobley? I know that's probably what you guys are waiting for, and we're about to get into that. But I just had to give a background of Jeff Teague first. He said, and I quote, "That's probably the best he gonna get," Teague said of Mobley. That's already crazy because he's been in the league for 2 years, but yeah, whatever. "I think that's probably the best we're going to see of Evan Mobley. He probably become a better shooter, but his body type, he don't have a Giannis Antetokounmpo build. The only step he could take is like Giannis. He can come that physically imposing to just run people over and go dunk, but his aggressiveness and the way he played just doesn't mirror Giannis. He don't move as fluid as Giannis." So I have talked about how Evan Mobley's body is the biggest thing I worry about. His pure muscle transformation. A lot of his legs, I think his upper body needs some strength. He just needs to be a stronger player, and I have mentioned that. But the fact that Jeff Teague's going to say that a guy who improved his jump shot already when he had no jump shot, improved his jump shot, became a Defensive Player of the Year winner, is literally extremely young still, and has statistics like this at the age of 24 is crazy to me. That he's just not going to get better? Seriously? 18 points, 9.3 points per game, 3 assists, or 9.3 rebounds per game, 18 points per game, 3 assists, almost 2 blocks, a steal, 55% and 37% from 3. Statistically and efficiency-wise, he is one of the best power forwards in the whole NBA, but behind guys like Giannis, don't get me wrong. Yes, I agree that I believe his post defense and his ability to become a scoring threat, those are the biggest things that can improve, but predicting that he's not going to get better when he already looks significantly stronger and more skilled is crazy. He works on his game like a lot. He's always in the gym. He works out with Kevin Durant. He works out with so many superstars. And he looks stronger in this offseason too. He's been working on things such as just dribbling into mid-range and taking his own shots. And that's the biggest concern that we have as fans is, can Evan Mobley go create his own shot, and can he play post defense? At least me, who claims to be a smart Cavs fan, that's what I believe his two biggest issues are. And that's what Jeff Teague kind of called out, is that he doesn't look to just go grab the ball and just go take over offensively. But the biggest thing that Jeff Teague said is that, you know, we're not going to see any better from Evan Mobley. And that's just crazy when Evan Mobley's been told he has to work on his whole career. And he got one step better by working on his post defense. Yes, it wasn't that great in the playoffs, but he got better at that. One Defensive Player of the Year. And people said, oh, if he can develop a jump shot, he did. So what's next? Can you create your own shot? Boom, he's working on creating his own shot. Can you get stronger? He's going to work on getting stronger. Like, I don't understand. Just add this very second right now of what Jeff Teague has to say, predicting that a 24-year-old is not going to get better when statistically over the course of athletics, actually mainly basketball, the prime years of an NBA player in the NBA is 27 to 31. Those are the prime years. Evan Mobley is 24. Evan Mobley is currently not in his prime years. Yes, some guys peak before that. Yes, some guys peak older than that. But the last time I checked, over the course of NBA history, for a majority of it, that has been it's a 4-year span of someone's prime. And those are the prime years when Evan Mobley is 3 years younger than the average peak prime, or the average youngest peak, which is 27 years old. Evan Mobley is only 24. So, again, for Teague to predict this, when Jeff Teague ain't nothing but a retired old man who got swept by the Cavs and got destroyed by the Cavs every time LeBron was in the Eastern Conference, to me is crazy. But I want to keep talking about Evan Mobley here and talk about what I think is going to happen with Evan Mobley's development, because we and me have acknowledged what his biggest flaw is. And that's the biggest thing. We know what his biggest flaw is. His muscle and his shot creating ability. Just being able to give me the ball. I'm going to go get a bucket. Of course. That's not what we expect of Evan Mobley. We expect Evan Mobley to be a pick and pop, pick and roll, help defender guy. Sometimes can go in the low post, do a little post hook or a post fade. That's what we expect Evan Mobley to do. And play defense, that's what we expect him to do. I think Jeff Teague's talking about Evan Mobley as if we expect this guy to be Giannis Antetokounmpo. We don't. We're getting what we want out of Evan Mobley, just not at the level that he can be at, we're getting a defensive player of the year winner, but we know he can be an all-star starter. Does that make sense? Because he's going to be a great help defender. He's always going to be a great defender. But there's a couple things he can improve. And that's what he has to do, because we know he can get to that level. And for you to go on your own show and say that this guy's not going to get better at the age of 24, I think is low. Honestly, I'll be honest, I think that's outright disrespectful. I don't care if it's Evan Mobley. I don't care if it's Peyton Pritchard. I don't care if it's Juan Toscano Anderson. I don't care who it is that you were saying that about. When you tell a 24-year-old that the 24-year-old defensive player of the year winner, that they aren't going to get any better. I wonder if anyone told Michael Jordan when he won his first defensive player of the year when he was young that he wasn't going to get any better, huh? You think about that? He did, in case you're wondering. The old heads are going to love that one because I mentioned Michael Jordan, by the way. Anyways, a little rant there. I wish I kind of brought that in earlier because I would have engaged some audience. But anyways, let's keep talking about Evan Mobley here. Just to give you kind of an identity of in-game looks from Giannis to then and now. Giannis is absolutely just ripped. He's buff, dude's massive. He's an absolute pimp. He would squish me like sushi with 2 fingers. And Giannis, when he was starting in the league, he was a piece of paper. I would squish him with 2 fingers. Not actually. And he was very, very thin. And he made a crazy improvement to his weight. And then he became just a takeover player instead of just kind of being whatever he had to be on the court. Because no one in his rookie, when he was skinny and he wasn't that big, no one had any, they were like, oh, this guy's just, kind of okay. He's not going to be elite. But people thought there was potential. Then he got super strong over course and then won 2 MVPs. Won an NBA Finals and NBA Finals MVP. You get the gist of it, right? That's what Giannis did, and that's what Jeff Teague kind of wants Evan Mobley to do. But again, what Giannis wants to do is different than what Evan Mobley's on the Cavs for. Although, if Evan Mobley, who has a very similar play style to Giannis, decided to want to play like Giannis, I wouldn't complain if he adds the muscle and the shot creating ability. But that's it for me. Of course, I sounded a little fired up. I assume some of you guys would be about Jeff Teague just predicting a 24-year-old to not get any better after winning a Defensive Player of the Year and just not even really experiencing that much basketball yet. He's played in 4 playoff series. I don't know. But anyways, thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest. I'm Matt Belangi. Subscribe, comment below your thoughts, like this video, share with your friends, and thank you guys for joining me here on Cavs Digest.